Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easy, baby. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only.
Welcome to Jessica Javens Talk Season 3. We are on all major social media platforms, but not just that. Now we are in Roku. There's more than 1.5 million subscribers of Roku. And we're also on Fire TV. So check us out under IMB's network, Jessica Javens Talk. And today we have version number 2 of an episode that we had in the beginning of the season 3. So this guest has an extraordinary story, so we had to bring her back. She comes from a very challenging situations where many, many people, especially women, can relate. I can relate in so many ways. So you need to stick here with us and watch this until the end. This guest came out of raising a family with 4 children, where 2 of her children are in the autism spectrum. Then she went through surviving pancreatic cancer. And now, not only that, she's an owner of multiple companies where she created her own brand. So if you are especially a woman, if you know a woman, if you know a leadership, you know an entrepreneur, you know a mom, you know somebody who's been struggling with something so difficult as cancer, please make sure you share this and you stick with us until the end of this episode. With a huge pleasure, I'd like to bring you back to episode 2 of our guest, Lissette Munoz. Welcome, Lissette.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And as Jessica said, I am a mother of 4 children, also a cancer survivor, and I'm also fighting every day with pancreatic insufficiency, and I am a multiple business owner.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for making time to be here and to share your story with the world. They all need to hear this. So thank you so much. Lissette, can you please tell us a little bit about how your life was pre-cancer? How did you feel? How was your life? How was your take on everything prior to that change?
So, before I found out that I had a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, I was very sick. I was throwing up every day and basically really had no quality of life. I was still working because I had to. I have 4 mouths to feed, but very little energy. I went to several doctors, got several tests done, and I was told that it was my gallbladder. And my gallbladder got taken out, and I was still getting sick. I was basically bedridden for a little bit because I had no more energy, and um my father forced me to go to Peru, to one of the best oncologists there, who found a small mass behind my pancreas. It was taken out, and then my holistic journey for healing started.
Yes, yes. Now, how long did you suffer from these things that you just described? Like, how long was that journey?
About 2 years.
Wow, 2 years. So basically, the first diagnosis, do you consider it a misdiagnosis?
Absolutely. They looked at me, they looked at my age and was like, okay, you have gallstones, that's your problem, and we're gonna take out your gallbladder. Um, it was not even done right away. So I had to make an appointment with a surgeon and wait my turn. So I was on Sofran 4 times a day, and basically monthly trips to the ER, where after a while I had to hire my own IV company to come to my house, because that's all they did in the hospital was give me morphine and IV and Zofran. So about 2 years it lasted, where I thought that after my gallbladder was taken out, I was fine. but I wasn't. I was still suffering all yellow, vomiting every day, not being able to tolerate a lot of different foods. Um, and it was just a very, very depressing lifestyle because there was nothing I could eat, nothing I could do. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. Even I couldn't even hold my bowels. It was very, very bad.
That came because you removed the gallbladder? Was that a
No,
consequence of that?
that was before the gallbladder, but after the gallbladder, I was supposed to be better. But the thing is that because it was not my gallbladder, it was my pancreas, all these issues continued after the removal of my gallbladder.
That is incredible. And of course, at this point, you already had your children. So you had to, the day to day, the responsibilities and everything else
Doesn't stop.
continues. It doesn't pause for you.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't stop. And not only that, but I have a child who is nonverbal. So he needed me alive. And that was one of the biggest reasons why my father pushed me to go to Peru. Because, me being here almost my entire life, I was like, America has the best technology, America has the best doctors, but I was just a number.
Wow.
When I got my CA cancer markers taken, it was only 3 points high. And they were
Oh,
like, that doesn't mean anything. But that's why I feel a lot of people don't make it through pancreatic cancer because they're like, that's nothing.
I I'm just cringing inside. I can't even imagine everything that you had to go through. Probably most people can't either. Now, let's go on to the point where you finally found out what you had. Tell us a little bit about behind the scenes. What were the feelings of you actually finding out? What was the fear and the thoughts and the conversations behind the scene?
Well, believe it or not, I was relieved because they were making me seem like I was crazy because I would go to my doctor and I would be like, I'll never forget this. I went to my doctor, my gastro, and I was like, I'm not feeling good. I was like 90 pounds. And she looked at me and was like, you look good. And I was like, I look good. Like I'm pale, I don't feel well. And um, I just felt very misunderstood and unheard. When I
Mm,
found out from the other doctor, I was very relieved because I was like, all right, we need to fight this. I have 4 children I need to look for. Um, yes, Western medicine is great. Don't get me wrong. Get out what you can. And the rest, I dove myself into holistic medicine and what I could do for myself. Changing my diet, using herbs, trying to do the best
mhm.
that I could in order to survive. Because again, I have a forever baby. My son's 19, but he's nonverbal, so I'm his voice.
Yes, yes. I I need to applaud you for that, and this is something that I advocate too, is for self-advocating, where you need to make sure that you're taking charge over your health and your life and your family, and not just expect to go blindly with other pieces of information. You need to go and do the work yourself. And I know it's not easy because there's just so much out there. Now, at what point, because you said you went to the holistic side now after going through all of the regular traditional medicine and that we know very well on this side of the world. So, at what point did food actually make the turning point into your life?
So when I was going through, before they even took my gallbladder out, I changed my diet drastically. I went vegan, stopped the red meat, stopped all the stuff that was not good, sugar. We all have mishaps. So everything that wasn't good, I stopped it. But I was super limited to the point where I was only eating butternut squash soup because that's the only thing that stayed down. So I when they did the surgery and took the small mass out, I wasn't required to do any chemo or any of that stuff. Um they gave me 10 pills to take a day, and that's when I said absolutely not. I'm not
10
I'm
pills of
43.
drugs?
Yeah, 10 different medications I had to take, and it was like over $4,000 a month,
Oh
and I
my
didn't have
goodness.
insurance at the time. So they
So
wanted me to take
Lissette,
Creon. Yeah, they wanted me to take Creon that many times a day. After every time I ate, I had to take a pill. So I was like,
Oh,
this isn't life. So I went into indigenous communities in the Andes and I started digging, seeing what I could use or what I could do in order to help me. Little things like turmeric, ginger, soursop leaves, sea moss,
mm,
eating nothing that is processed. And in the Andes, there really isn't any food that is processed. Nothing barely comes in a bag. Everything is from what Mother Nature gives you, is what your body needs. And that's when I
beautiful.
started, trying little things at a time.
Wow. Okay. And this was after, no, it was before. You said it was before you actually found out
So,
what
no,
you,
before I started making small changes, but after I got my surgery, I went into the indigenous communities and in the Andes in order to self-heal because they gave me 10 pills I had to take a day. And I was like, I can't take 10 pills a day. Like pills are band-aids. They're not going to cure you. So I said I have to find something for myself in order to continue my daily life, be able to get the nutrition that I need, but not have to take 10 pills a day or have to run to the restroom every
mm,
time I eat because I can't hold my bowels.
yes. Before I ask you the next question, I want to just let our listeners know that this show is also being sponsored by one of your brands, which is Seed Superfoods. And you guys are going to hear a little bit more about that in just a moment. And it's also available at the channel, the link and the images, so you can also benefit from it like Lissette did. So back to the questions, Lissette. What made you trust this holistic approach and the actual foods that benefited you from this point on?
So the holistic approach I was kind of familiar with because I've done everything and anything holistic for my children. So there are so many things that worked for us and still work for us. So I said there has to be something that I could find for myself. Um, while we were in the Andes, I came across a plant named chocho. I was explained to by the indigenous communities that chocho is a very strong plant that was used by the Incas. It has 25 grams of protein, 9 amino acids, and 8 grams of fiber. So, because I was consuming not a lot of nutrition high foods, and even though I was eating fruits and vegetables, there was still that gap in protein. So, this plant based protein, I started eating it as a legume. I started adding it like that and then came up with the idea with the help of the indigenous communities that this could be formed into a powder because I had to bring it back to the US with me and I couldn't bring back legumes with me.
True.
So we figured out how to process it, take all of the bitterness out of it and make it into a powder so I can consume it
Wow.
every single day. When I started consuming this, I got energy. I felt better. I didn't have any problems with my digestion. I wasn't running to the restroom every time I ate. And I figured this is good for me. So after about a month of taking it, I started my entrepreneur mind was like, if I have this problem, I'm sure everybody else does. So let me bring this to the US. And that's how Seed Superfoods was born.
Wow. What an incredible journey. So this is basically what made you trust it, of course, by experimenting within yourself.
Yes.
Now, for who never heard about chocho, can you give us a very easy explanation? You said it's a legume, right? But
Yes, it's a
what is
legume.
it? What does it look like? What does it contain?
So chocho is a legume. It if you look behind me and you see this purple plant right there, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Um it gets washed in the river, believe it or not. We don't even use
Wow.
machinery or any of that. It gets washed in the river for 7 days. And then it gets dried and formed into a powder. It has 25 grams of protein, 9 amino acids, and 8 grams of fiber. And it has
Wow.
tons of nutrition.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And do we have Chocho here in the United States or other parts of the world? Like where does it come from originally? Thank you for showing that. Yes. Tell us a little bit, like how easy is it for people to actually get their hands on it?
Well, now it's super easy because I bring it into the United States. Um, so you can grab it at my website, or we're at every Brothers Farmers Market location as well. It grows in Ecuador, and it also grows in Peru in the Andes. Um, so now again, before it was very hard, and that's why when I knew I had to come back, I couldn't stay living in Peru forever because my kids are here.
Yeah.
So when I had to come back, that's when I was like, wait, let me see how I can bring this protein. For me, it wasn't even an idea that I wanted to make a whole brand out of it. It was, let me bring this because this is what's keeping me going right now. This is what's giving
Mhm.
me energy. This is what's
Yes.
putting a little, lean muscle back on my body because I had absolutely no muscle, no muscle
Wow.
at all. When I wasn't eating well, my body just did what it's supposed to do. It ate my fat and my muscle.
Of
So
course. Oh,
I brought it into the US, and little by little I try to talk to people like me because everywhere I went, whether it was a restaurant, a juice bar, um, anywhere for food, it always had preservatives, it had sugar, and it had something I couldn't eat.
yep.
So it was something very important to me to be able to help people like me who are embarrassed to say, I can't digest things. I can't, keep down my food. I have these issues. And nowadays, and I believe, especially after COVID, stomach issues are crazy.
Yeah. Thank you for touching on that point of being embarrassed, because that is a reality and people don't talk
Yeah.
much about that. So thank you for bringing that out. Now, after this journey that you shared with us, Lissette, and thank you so much for that, what shifted in your mindset and your take in life?
Um, After all of these things, like I said, I was always in the medical field before I opened up Brothers Farmers Markets, which are my grocery stores. And after that, I own a juice bar as well. So after that, I was using a lot of plant-based protein in my juice bar. And when I discovered Chocho and it worked so well for me and my family, because I also try everything I do on my family as well, including my sons, who are the pickiest people in the world. Um, I did, I decided that let me bring this here, let me help people. So my mindset wasn't let me bring a brand and put it on the shelves and sell it to everybody. My mindset was let me educate people and tell them,
Mm,
help them try to live a better life, and spend your money on your food correctly. Try to
mhm,
use try to use food as an energy source and not as a, let me go out to eat just because you're eating. No, you should be eating for a purpose, which is to give your body energy. So my
absolutely.
mindset shifted in just trying to help people out more than anything. People like me, again, like I said, nobody talks about this because it's very, very embarrassing. It's embarrassing to
Yep.
tell you I had to have a change of pants and underwear in my car at all times because I didn't know when I was gonna not be able to make it to the restroom.
That's a lot. And thank you for sharing and being so raw and bold. I do know, like you said, there's a lot of people who need to hear this and know that there is still alternatives and hope. So thank you for motivating people to be an advocate and to educating people. I know people walk into several of your farmers market and get to meet you in person too, and you're constantly giving them tips, almost like you're their holistic doctor because you have so much
Yes.
experience. And now you have a beautiful, beautiful line of supplements where, of course, the main focus is the chocho and its amazing power. And then, of course, you also have something that also is for the skin and beauty, and you have a whole line about that on that too, which is amazing. And if you guys need to check it out. Now, a lot of the people who are listening to us now are women who struggled with either one or the other or multiple situations that life brought to you, just like it is yourself. Talking to this group of people now, Lissette, what would you say for that woman who is overwhelmed right now? Because you probably are the person or one of the people who most know the word and the meaning of being overwhelmed. What would you leave them with if you had to give them the best piece of advice while they're going through something very hard?
I would say that you need to live one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, or 1 minute at a time if it's necessary. And to just focus on yourself. I know we all have families, we all have jobs, we have responsibilities, but if you're not healthy, you can't take care of anyone. If you're not healthy, you can't work. So it's just taking it one step at a time. Changing your lifestyle and your diet can also be very overwhelming and very depressing because you're so used to a certain lifestyle. So my biggest take would be just to love yourself and to even just one tiny change a day for yourself makes a big difference. I was always that woman that was like, I have no time. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I started going into more deeply because I was already in the natural route because of my son. But I started going more deeply, like you said, even with the beauty line, because the skin is our biggest organ. And sometimes we don't even realize what we're putting into our skin is toxicity sometimes. So it was a whole 360 for me. And for women, I would just say one day at a time, you got to take a breath. You got to try to take, even if it's just 5 minutes of breathing and trying to center yourself and trying to, whatever you do for you, also try to do for your family. So it's a whole, you have a support system.
That's beautiful. And you are also a demonstration with your story of patience. You were very patient, you were resilient, and you never gave up. It's so easy to.
I wasn't patient, but I was very resilient and I never gave up because, you get very depressed and you get very anxious. But I had to fight all those emotions to survive because again, I have a big responsibility, which is my sons.
Absolutely. And of course, having your family was a big motivation too. You are such a big example, and your story needs to continue to go out there so people are aware that the power that they have within themselves, sometimes they don't even realize until you actually go through extremes like that. And the fact that you didn't have to, but you decided to share this. We really appreciate that. I would love for who is watching us now to be able to get to know a little bit more about the beautiful things that we talked about that you created out of complete, almost, I would describe, despair. So they can also learn everything that you with so much love and care created. So tell us how they can reach you and follow you.
So I am very, very transparent and very honest. I even give you my cell phone number if you want to talk to me. Um, I am on Instagram. So my Instagram is Lissette 1982. I also have Seed Superfoods. That's also on Instagram. Or you can go on our website, which is seed-foods.com.
Thank you so much, Lissette. Thank you. My heart is so full every time that I connect with you. I'm happy that Lissette actually doesn't live too far away from me, so I can just go to the farmer's market, get my best favorite vegetables, and get to see her. If you go to South Florida, you have to visit one of her shows. I mean, one of her markets, and then get to know and see her online. Love her products. They're delicious. It can definitely tell and transpire all the love and dedication that she has through this. So thank you so much for being here with us, Lissette. This show is presented by IMB's Network. And our sponsors are also Forever Living, Purium, the Ultimate Life Transformation Company, and also my brother's wine bar in Fort Lauderdale called Through the Vine. This is Jessica Javens, and thank you for watching Jessica Javens Talk.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just just touching me,